Alright, welcome back to my YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. And again today we are going to focus on grade 11 solid geometry question. And looking at our question, you are given the front view and auxiliary view of a cone with a regular equilateral triangular hole. We are given the section line SS and the start position V. Instructions say you must draw to scale 1:1 the following views of the solid. Sectional left view on SS, the given front view, a sectional top view on SS, the true shape of the section part. Planning is important. Show all necessary constructions. Show all hidden detail lines. To start with, I want us to interpret our drawing. We can see that from point V here, which is the center of our triangular hole and our cone, and then our cone is at a radius of 35. One side length of our triangular hole is 25, and then we have 40 millimeter away from center line to our XY line, and then we have 5 millimeter away from our cone to our vertical XY line. And then from our XY line to our front view, which is our base here in our front view, is going to be 10 millimeter, and then from one base to another base in our triangular hole is going to be 50 millimeter. Okay, then we can see that from our base to our apex is 96 millimeters, and then it is 25 millimeters from our apex to our cutting plane SS. Okay, so to start with, we will need to have our auxiliary view for our triangle. Okay, so this is how we get our auxiliary view for our triangle, and then we have to measure our 25 millimeter on this line we just constructed. Here's our 25. Okay, then on that 25, I am going to take my compass with this measurement of 25, and this is going to be my auxiliary view for my triangle. Okay, and then now I will need to find the center of my triangle using my 30 by 60 set square. From this corner here on the side, then angle of 30, and then also from this corner, then angle of 30. Okay, so here it will be my point V, and now I can simply just have my center line here. Okay, so now I am going to measure from this center line to my apex, which is here. Then I'm going to start on V there and take that measurement there. Okay, and then from my apex here to my base, this distance here, I'm going to feature it here. Okay, and then I know when I get here, I have to construct a horizontal line. Here's my horizontal line. Then now I know that from that point, which is this one here, it is at an angle of 60. Okay, so I come here with my 30 by 60 set square from my apex at an angle of 60, and also on this side at an angle of 60. Okay, so now I have my triangle hole. What I am short of is my full circle at a radius of 35. Okay, so I'm taking my compass, 35mm measurement. Then I come on my starting position point V. So this here is going to be my code, and every time when we are dealing with a circle on solid geometry, we know that we have to divide our circle into 12 equal parts. Okay, 1, 2, and from also the center line. Now also from the center line, we have now divided our circle into 12 equal parts. Okay, then now what we will need to measure is that we will need to measure from our center line to our XY line. It's going to be 40, which is here, so parallel to this center line here. This is going to be my XY line. And then from the circle to my vertical XY line, it is going to be 5mm. So from the circle to my vertical XY line is going to be 5mm. And then there I have my 5mm, which is going to be my vertical XY line. You understand? So now I have my X1, I have my Y1 here. This is my X1, this is my Y1. Okay, here I have X. Then we are given 10mm. And from that 10mm, that's when we can have another vertical line. This is where our base of our cone is going to be. Okay, and then from the base to our apex is going to be 96mm. 96mm is here. Okay, so this is going to be our 96. And then we construct from our left view. And then when we construct our lines, they need to touch the base here in our front view. And then when our lines touches our base, we need to take them back to our apex. Okay. So I want us to label our left view. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. 12. Okay. So this is the 1, 12, 2, 3, 11, 10, 4, 9, 5, 8, 6, and you have 7. Okay. Using our solid line, because you know here's our 96 here, it is going to be there. So when our construction lines touches our base, we take them back to our apex. Okay, so these ones inside are going to be in construction lines. And then you can see that our triangle hole is going to be 50mm from the base to another base. So here's our constructions for our triangular hole. So 50 millimeters is going to be here with hidden detail lines. This was supposed to be hidden detail lines. Yeah. And then now we will need to extend our XY line. So here on this side is going to be our X here. Okay. So we are going to use our information both from our right and our left and our front view to get our top view. Okay. So we simply now know that here it is going to be our -45-degree line. And then we construct from our left view to our 45-degree line, and from that 45-degree line we are going to construct back to our top view. Okay, this is our triangular hole. And then now, as soon as our construction lines touches our 45-degree line, we construct our top view. And then now you can construct from our front view. Okay. So here the center is going to be our apex here. So hidden detail to show that you have a triangle hole here. So here we are using construction lines. Okay, so now we need to have our cutting plane. So they said it's 25 millimeter from our apex. Okay, here's our 25, and then it just goes straight to this corner. Yes. Okay, so now we need to check and analyze where is our cutting plane going through. Okay, so let us start with our left view. Starting on our left view, this is line 7 that goes to our, let's say this is T. Okay, our V. Okay, we have our V here. This is V. Line 7 going to V. Okay, let's see. So now we need to cut our line 7 that goes to V. Okay. Seven that goes to V. Here's going to be our point here. And line 7 that goes to V. And then the other second line is going to be 8 and 6. 8 and 6. So 8 and 6 is going to cut here. So this is going to be 8. It is going to cut here. And 6 is going to cut here. Then now we need point line 9 and 5. Coming here, we are going to look for 9. It's cutting here. 5, it is cutting here. Then here it is going to be 10 and 4. And for 10 and 4, we are not going to be sure. So here's our 10. Here's our 4 in our top view. Okay, so we will need to use our top view to cut our line 10 and 4 in our left view. So 10 and 4, it is cutting here. So as soon as it touches this 10 and 4 line, we construct back to our 45 degree. We construct back to our 45 degree, and then we construct again back to our left view. So this is going to be our point 10 here. And then also for point 4, we need to get it from our top view. And then construct back to our line 4, which is here. And then now we need to go and cut our line 3 and 11. We are still focusing on our cone. 311 is here. So here's our line 11. Here's our line 3. And here it is going to be our line 2 and 12. Line 12 is here, line 2, and then you can see that at 1 it is cutting here. Okay, and now you can simply use our freehand, or you can use your flexi curve to join all these points. You only use freehand to join the points when you are dealing with a circle or a cone or a cylinder. Okay, so now we need to cut our triangular hole. You can see that our triangular hole is cutting 1 and 2 only here and here. So constructing to our left view, it is going to cut on this point and on this point here, and then here it is going to cut here. And then now we can section our left view. Okay, and then now we will need to go and cut our top view. Okay, so already we have point 10 and point 4. So now we can construct vertically, so from our cutting plane in our front view. So this is going to be 7. So this is 7 and 1. Here we have 6 and 2. We have 5 and 3 here. And then this is 8, 12. Then we have 11 and 9. Okay, so here on our 7 we are going to have a point here, and the next one that is following is going to be our point 8 and 6. Here's our 6, and then our 8 is going to be here. And following one is going to be our 9 and 5. Here's our 5. Our 9 is here. We have 4 and 10. We can now go to this one, which is 3 and 11. 11 is here, and then here's our 3. We can go to 2 and 12 here. 12 is here, and we have our 2 here. Then the last one is our 1. Okay, 1 is cutting here. Okay, so simply with our freehand, and then now we need to cut our triangular holes. So we can start on this point here. We can say here we are going to have our point on this line, and then we can, before we can cut here on this line, you know that we have 2 points on this line here, so we can take our information from our left. Then as soon as our lines touches our 45, we take them back to our top view. So this is going to be our point. And also here it's going to be our point. So there we have it. Then now we can section our top view. Okay, and then now we need to have our true shape of the cut surface. So the true shape of the cut surface, we just have to construct a parallel line to our cutting plane. Here's our parallel line. We can name this Y2 and X2. Perpendicular from our cutting plane, we construct our lines perpendicular to our cutting plane. We are going to construct from where our cutting plane is cutting. Now what you will need to do is that you will need to measure from our XY line to our top view. XY line to point 1. Then this is going to be our line 1. Here's our point 1. Then also from XY line to point 7 is the same distance. XY line point 7 here. Okay. So again we need to get these 2 points. these 2 points. Okay, so now let me start with XY line. So this point here is going to be from my XY line to my point, from my XY line to this point again here. Is going to be here, from my XY line to this point, and the second last is going to be this one. Okay, and now I will need to get all these other points on this side from XY line also. And on this line I have my point here from XY line. Okay, so now what I need to do is that I can join all my points again. Okay, and then now I will need to also have this triangle hole in my section view. And then on this line I have 2 points. One. This is the second point. Okay. And then you can section using our 45-degree set square here. Okay, so this is how you should have answered your question, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for taking time to watch this video, and please don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you.